Hey everyone, Justin with 702pros.com here. In this video, we're going to be talking about UX or user experience. You might have seen the acronym, just the U and the X, or like a U/X, but that's just an acronym for user experience. And what does it mean for your site? If your UX isn't good, are people going to be like, I'm leaving the site, oh my gosh. Well, in some cases, yes. And when it comes down to competition or really competitive industries, or if you're ranking on Google or something and you are going head to head against other sites, the UX is very important, and the design. So that really, if I went to a website and one site looked polished, everything looked perfect on it, and all the buttons were working correctly, and that's kind of around the UX realm, and then how your website flows. If I went to that site and then I went to another competitor that their site wasn't polished, some of the links weren't working, some of the buttons weren't working correctly, I would probably choose the one that worked, because especially if I haven't met with the company yet. And that might be another determining factor when they meet with you. But this is, think of your website like your initial point of sell for anything. So the UX is really important. So let's get into the details after the intro. Check it out. All right, guys, we're back. So UX, and before we get into the meat and the bones and those really minute details like the UX, let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Justin Young. I'm the owner of 702 Pros LLC, a Las Vegas-based web design, UX designer, app development, marketing, branding, photos, videos, digital marketing, anything around your business in the business sphere. And if you want to get found on the web, we can help with that. So we're located here in Las Vegas. If I look over there, I can see the Strip, and it's still daylight out, thanks daylight savings time. But I just wanted to go over this really quickly because I get this question a lot, and we do this for a lot of different companies, UX or the user experience on a site. How important is it? I think it's probably one of the most important behind design. Well, okay, so on a website you have content. That's really big. And then you have design. And then you have the user experience. So all three of those have to be done in conjunction. In addition to search engine optimization and social. And the bigger you get with your company, the more you have to do these things to separate your company and to pull ahead of the competition. But user experience, and we're just going to talk about this in this video. So user experience is used in conjunction with content and the design. So you have to have a really good design basis of the site, and then the content has to be on point. Your grammar has to be good on the site. That's one part of user experience. Is the grammar correct? Are you conveying your message correctly? So that's part of the UX. Let's break that down. So UX is actually over content and design. So that's the user experience when they get to the site. Is my content laid out correctly? And these are some questions you need to ask yourself on the site. Let's do a little analysis. So if you want to get up your website while I'm talking, get up your website and act like you don't know anything about your business. You just got to the site somehow. And let's say you're a fishing instructor, okay? Okay, so part of the user experience is when I come to your site, when I go to the front page, do I know that you're a fishing instructor? Or do you have an image of a little girl playing in some water? That's part of the user experience. Okay, so think of it like that. So when you're looking at your site, think of it as if you know nothing about your company. So that is the basis of the user experience. Now that you kind of looked at the site and you say, oh, okay, I'm good there. Check that off. Okay, I know that this site is about whatever it may be about. Now let's go into the buttons and the text, the design, the flow. And that's a big portion of the user experience. So I go to the site, I go to the hero image or the front portion on the top, and what do I see on there? Is there a clear call to action at the top? If I'm a fishing instructor, what do you want people to do? So what do you want them to do when they get to your site? Do you want them to schedule an appointment for fishing instructing? Do you want them to call you? Do you want them to fill out an email? What do you want them to do when they get to your site? Now, you don't want to say, buy now, and push it in their face, but you want to have a clear call to action. Get started is a perfect one. You see that on a lot of sites. That's a really generic, get started term. And I actually use that on my site, get started, and then I used to have a link that went to a bunch of other links or portals to different parts of the site. I took that down for right now just to make it really simple, and it's a contact form. But I'm always working on my site, building and improving. And if you want to check it out, you can go to 702pros.com, and we're always improving the user experience. And that can be easier said than done. You kind of need a team to do that. That's why I always suggest, if you built your site yourself, I always suggest, run with what you have and do what you can with what you have, but hire a professional to help with the site. At least hire a professional to do an analysis of your site, to give you a consultation or something, just to talk you through what you could and what you should be doing with the site. Because I know if you did it yourself and you're not a professional designer, you are losing leads and you're losing potential clients, customers, connections, collaborators all the time. My site isn't perfect, and I'm always working on it to make it perfect. It's never going to be perfect. I don't care if you go to an Amazon site. Their site is never perfect. They're always running analysis to see where they can improve things. And I hear this a lot from people. Oh yeah, I have a cousin that made a site one time, and they could probably do it. And I say, okay, they can do it, but do they do it professionally? I had worked on my yard before. I used to have a landscaping company, so that's probably not a perfect. I installed cabinets before, but would you hire me to do your cabinets? Maybe, but they're not going to be as good as a professional doing them. And when it comes to your business, it's really important. It's probably the most important factor. Your website, your social media presence. That is, in today's day and age, people are going to go to your site. Let's put it in a real life perspective. I meet someone at a networking event, and I do business to business. So that's kind of, okay, I would meet someone at a networking event. I give them my card. They might call me based on the card, but I would say 9 times out of 10, and I do the same thing, I would go to their site. And it's hard, maybe I'm jaded because I do websites and marketing and all that. I would go to their site first, but I think based on we've done feedback from customers and how people search analysis on the market. Based on that, I know that people go to a site first, especially millennials and younger. They're going to go to a site or your social media brand to check you out before they call to go over the phone. And that depends on the demographic. But I think you're here for a reason, because your site is really important. So let's go back to UX or user experience. So now that you kind of know what the user experience is, and so there's content, there's design, and then there's the flow of the site. How are people using it? Now, in order to really get an insight on how people are using your site, I suggest some analytic programs. You can use Google Analytics. That's a free solution, and it has some cool behavioral things that you can use. And I used that for a long time because it was free. I actually set that up for a lot of people. If they don't have a budget or if they don't want to learn a software, I just suggest using Google Analytics and kind of learning that. And Google Analytics is perfect. So you have Google Analytics which is a free software for analyzing your site and what people are doing. And then you also, in addition to that, you have Google Search Console. Those are 2 free solutions that you can look at your site and kind of analyze what people are doing. Google Search Console's how people are finding you. So They tell you what keywords they're using to find you, how many times they're clicking that keyword, how many searches there are, what ranking you have. So it's all around the Google search engine and how optimized your content is. So that would be used for your SEO. The analytics would be more for the UX and how people are interacting with your site after they get there. So Google Search Console's before or how they're getting there. Google Analytics is what they're doing after they get there. And then in analytics, since we're talking about UX, it'll tell you some really important factors. And some factors that you want to look at are bounce rate. That means just a general idea of what bounce rate is. If I go to your site, or if I go to one page on your site and then I leave automatically without clicking something, that's a bounce rate. So that means that they bounced off your site, right? Now, another thing you want to look at is click-through rate. So click-through rate is really important. What are people clicking? What pages are they clicking through? So you know those pages are kind of working if they're clicking through. And then you want to funnel them. This isn't on analytics. This is going to be part of your UX. You want to funnel them to something, to an end result, to a sell potential. Like if you say your site's not for selling something, then what's the point of having a site? Really, I mean, the site is for selling. It is for selling your service or product to a visitor. So that's what you want to do continuously. Even if you go to a blog, if I go to a blog and there's an SEO blog I've been reading for years. He's actually really good. I think his name's Brian Dean with Backlinko. If you want to check him out, he's a really good SEO guy. But he creates great blog content on how to do things. But he knows a lot of people are going to take in some of that, but they're not experts like him. So what he's trying to do is sell you on a program. So you sign up for his email newsletter. It's kind of, he holds your hand through the process, and he's really worked on the UX. I think he brought in a team for that because at first he just had the great content, and then he brought in a team to help him with that flow, how you're going to make the sell. Get them to your YouTube channel, get them to this, get them to that. And you're kind of holding people's hand through the process. Think of it like a salesperson, not one of those, hey, you want to buy a car? No, like maybe if you went to Mercedes or something and they give you some coffee, they sit you down, they, give you some food. I don't know what it may be, but they're kind of a really good sales experience. That's what you want your site to do. Not salesy, but a great sales experience throughout the process. And that's the end result. You're never going to have an end result I'm speaking from personal experience. I've been working on my site since day one, and I could show you, I have the revisions on my site. There's thousands. I might have over the last, I've had my 702pros.com website for about 5 years. And on my front page alone, I've probably done 5,000 revisions. Not lying. I mean, in one day, I might do 15 revisions. So it'll show me all the revisions I did. And that could be just one word of text or something like that. But that's really what you want to think about with your UX. Are people flowing through the site? And then those tools I'm talking about, the analytic tools are going to help you through the process. So you have Google Analytics, which is a free tool. And then you have a few premium tools. So premium analytic software we've been using that I really enjoy is called Hotjar. I'll put a link to that below. I'll also put a link to Google Analytics where you can set that up, and then Google Search Console. But those are 3 tools that I would suggest. I've been using Analytics and Search Console for a long time. The only problem is, it's not really a problem. You can get more analytics from the premium software, and that's why we use it. And when you start to get really into the game, you can hire a company like mine that can run full analysis of your site. And then what Hotjar does, in addition to the flow, it'll actually record people, not their faces, but record the screen interactions. And then it'll also do heat maps on the site, which is really cool. It'll show you where people are clicking, just at a bird's eye view. Like, oh, okay, this is where they're clicking on the site. because analytics kind of shows you a like a T-chart framework. I don't know, these lines. You'll have to see it. It's, I guess, like a tree diagram or something, but it'll show you, oh, they went here, and then, oh, they spread off to here. It's not as visually as appealing as Hotjar, because Hotjar is the premium one. But it offers a lot of great insight that's going to help with your user experience and tell you where you need to make changes in order to improve the user experience. Because that's, like I was saying, that's above even, it's a part of the design and the content. So are people getting the content they want, or are they leaving in this area? So where you see people leaving, and with that Hotjar, you could see, oh, I have this call to action, but no one clicked it. Maybe I should change this. And that brings into other strategies that you can take into place, or that you can put into place. A and B testing, and that's one really good one where you can create two different pages. Say you're doing Google Ads and you want to create two different pages. There's some software out there that can really help you with that. One of the ones that we use is called HubSpot, but it might be a little more expensive. I'll give some. Well, I don't know if there's a lot of free inbound marketing. These are inbound marketing or A and B testing softwares. I don't know if there's any free ones out there. If there are, I'll put them in below. We've been using HubSpot for a while, and I really like how it works. But you can really gauge what is working and what is not, and that's going to help with your user experience. So some things, I think that's really it for this short video on user experience and how you can kind of improve it. I'm actually going to do another video a little more in depth and go further into some tools and some strategies that you can take into place, that you can implement or put into place to really help that experience. But what I wanted you to take away from this basic video on it is your site flowing? Look at the site. I know I'm doing this, but would you click on your site? Would you engage with it? And don't think that the design and the content does not matter, because they're looking at multiple sites. It does matter. And what people see and what they read and what videos or whatever you have on there are really going to impact your site either positively or negatively. So really look at those factors. Would you click on that button? Would you scroll down the page? Are you going to leave if you just came to the site? So, and then another suggestion, don't have your cousin's brother's uncle design your site. Possibly design it yourself, or have a professional help you at the least with a consultation. If you want us to help you or do like a quick analysis on your site, we would love to help. You can go to my site, click the Get Started link, and send us an email. In there, you can put in your website address, and we can do a quick analysis of what the UX is going to be about. Just so you know, we do charge for that because it takes some time. We have a software that runs on it, but we have to go into the site, check the pages, put in additional pages just to see. And it's just going to be a basis of, is this working or is it not? And there's really minute details that someone that's not experienced with design and doesn't look at it all the time is not going to see. But it just by me looking at your site, I can tell you, okay, the user experience on this is a little off. And we'd love to help you. Okay, so thanks for watching. If you were interested in this video, if you want to see anything else when it comes to website design, user experience, app development, and that UX goes with app development too. This isn't just for website analysis or websites. It's for app development, and even software can use it. If someone's downloading software, are people able to use it correctly? And I'm really good at finding, even on big sites or big applications, I can see problems in the user experience just by using the site or the application for a moment. So even if you're a big company, I can help you with a few minor improvements to applications that could really help. And sometimes the analysis just doesn't really show you that. You need kind of an outside perspective to look in to help you out. So again, I'm Justin Young with 702pros.com. If you like this video, consider subscribing, hit the like button and the notification bell. And then if you want more information, you can go to 702pros.com. You can go to the YouTube tab and you can subscribe to our email list that you can get more information on all the stuff that I'm talking about, even more in-depth user experience information. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.